YouTube? It's me, Jeff. Today we're talking about why you should switch into software engineering from mechanical engineering. And then while you're watching this video, keep in mind that I never say one job is more respectable or easier. I mean, they're both engineering, so definitely not easy. But let's get into it. So number one, pay. So a lot of people are curious about this. I was curious about this before I made the switch, and the compensation is totally different. It's ridiculous. And let me tell you my story to illustrate the point. So a couple of years ago, I was working in San Diego as a systems integration engineer or a hardware test engineer at a consulting firm. I was making 60 grand with about a 3 years experience, and that with the amount of experience, it's about average or slightly below average. Then things happened in my life, and I wanted to make a switch into software engineering. I went to a software bootcamp to fully transition into web development, and I got a job in LA. So here's the fact. The first job that I got after software bootcamp, it paid me 107 base, plus crazy benefits like free lunch at work and free Uber to work. And that was with me having close to zero experience. Sure, there's a difference in cost of living, but it's not a huge one. So the two positions involve similar amounts of responsibility, but the hardware position required like proprietary software tool knowledge, and then of course some knowledge about hardware. So just based on that, I was blown away by the compensation difference, or another way of saying difference in demand. And the great thing is the salary I mentioned for the software engineering is definitely not the ceiling. It's just probably the beginning. So if you're doing similar work as an engineer and solving problems, why not get paid more for it? So if you've watched this far, thank you. I'm going to be posting more software engineering videos in the future, so don't forget to click that subscribe button. Number two, job opportunity. So this kind of relates to number one, but the difference in the amount of job opportunity is just like night and day. First, let's talk about the hardware test industry. When I was job hunting, it was not easy. I would apply to 50 different positions, and maybe I would get 1 or 2 responses back. And that was me with signing up to 5 different job seeking platforms or recruiting platforms, and recruiters never contact me. What about software engineering? So I'm currently happy with the position I have. So on the recruiting platform, I put my status as not looking for opportunity, but I still get phone calls and emails like every other day, and I'm just popular. And it's weird to me because I know that feeling of not getting not the recruiters not reaching out at all. So just the difference and the situation is always just surprising. And once again, this is the difference in demand. 3, remote work. So remote work is the ability to carry out your responsibilities without physically being in your office. And the year 2020 was a rough year for everybody, and it kept, the COVID kept many of us home. The ad tech company I'm with decided to close down their offices around mid-March, and then that's when everybody went full remote after that. Did that affect me? Not really. So before the lockdown, yes, we went into work, but we have branches all over the country. So most of our meetings were already done on Zoom or Google Hangout, and then the communication tool that we use is called Slack, and then we just use that all the time to talk to teammates about different things. So we were already pretty much online. So once we went full remote, not much change. It was pretty much a smooth transition. As a contrast, let's talk about engineers with hardware. So it's not impossible to work remotely. You can stay at home and engineer and design the future or product that you're working with. But the problem is it's difficult to go fully remote because eventually you have to test the thing that you made, a physical thing. So it's really hard to just stay at home and do that. Software engineers just don't have to deal with that as much. 4, community. So when I made the switch into software engineering, it was pretty much from the bottom, right? I had to start from zero. So I read books, tutorials, websites. I attended talks and conferences. The learning curve was definitely there, but I believe the process overall was easier than when I had to do the same thing for the hardware engineering position because of the community. What I mean by community is the people and the resources. I think people in software engineering are more open about their ideas, and they share their advices more readily. And the resources available both online and offline, there's just so much. People talking about best practices, the mistakes they've made in the past, the opinions about the new tool or framework that came out. It's all there. It's just open. The website Stack Overflow is a great example. People ask questions about their problem, and lots of people give answers to help out for the better good of the community. And I just didn't see that type of resources in the other industries I worked as a hardware engineer. So if you want to learn something or improve your skill set, it's all there. This leads to career advancement. Your curiosity is satisfying, and I think it's just a good feeling or comfortable position that if you want to accomplish something, you know where to go to. That's probably a good reason for anybody. 5. Industry. So every industry uses software to a certain extent. So it's easy to switch once you get your foot in the door, especially in web development. Now I work in advertising, but I could easily switch into healthcare or more consumer-facing applications with the same skills and tool sets. For a hardware test engineer, it wasn't as easy. Each industry that I was involved in had its set of proprietary tool sets that engineers were expected to know, and those weren't easily translatable between the industries. So if I wanted to make a switch, it would be hard to expect the hiring manager to hire me because I didn't know X or I didn't know how to use Y. I'm not saying you should switch industries often, but it's just nice to have that option, right? I mean, look at tourism or the food industry. I'm pretty sure that people working in the industry last year probably would have thought that, oh, it would be nice to have the option to switch out, even temporarily. So those are my 5 reasons why you should switch into software engineering as a mechanical engineer. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and then don't forget to click that subscribe button. Thanks.